What if there was an app that you could just give it a text prompt and it will build an entire shortcut for you? Well, it exists, and it's called Shortcut Studio. We're going to put it to the test to see if it can build simple shortcuts, ones that I've featured here on the channel, and can it also do advanced shortcuts that even pull from external APIs. And because it's a shortcuts video, I do have 10 new shortcuts to share too, like how to dictate multiple reminders at once using Apple Intelligence, quickly jump to credit card autofill information, if you see music featured in a post or reel, how you can quickly play it in Apple Music, hack the stock photos widget for inspirational quotes or the NASA image of the day, upgraded infinite wallpaper shortcut, and more. But first, let's talk about Shortcut Studio. Shortcut Studio is free to download and use. Everything you'll be seeing here is on the free plan. You can chat, even use suggested prompts right here, and it will create shortcuts for you. You can also go to the marketplace right here, and on the free plan, any shortcuts that you build using the prompt, they will be publicly available for anyone else to download. If you do want to upgrade, again, you can create shortcuts and do all of this for free. There is a Plus and Pro plan if you want more messages per day, more shortcut downloads a day, and if you want your shortcuts to be private. But let's see if it actually works and can build shortcuts that run on the iPhone. Let's start with 3 simple to medium hard shortcuts and see if it can build it. Create a shortcut that opens the display settings on iPhone with a URL scheme. Now I've shared lots of shortcuts where you can use URL schemes to open specific settings panes, even app settings. I shared that in my last shortcuts video, which I'll link above and down in the description. And while it's building this shortcut, we can actually start prompting another. For this next one, let's say, create a shortcut that captures voice dictation and uses Apple Intelligence to parse multiple reminders and adds them to the app. This will be a shortcut that was actually built by someone in my community, so we'll see if this app can do a better job. And let's prompt a third one, create a shortcut that pulls events from all my calendars for today. All right, I'll send that prompt away, and we can go here to our conversations and see the shortcuts that are currently working. Now, while Shortcut Studio works on those, let me show you some handcrafted shortcuts built by people in my shortcuts community. It's Santi G built this shortcut, and he actually did something awesome. This is called TV Wire. You can put your favorite shows here in the top text block, and this is going to use a free API from TV Maze. No API key required, so there should be no limits on here. And when you run it, it actually will search to see if any new episodes are airing for your favorite shows, format them in a widget, and add a reminder with the next episode time. And just like that, it's going to create this kind of square image that you can then use as a widget on your home screen. It's called TV Wire. This is the current week. Any new episodes of shows I watch will be here under the airing, and if shows don't have upcoming episodes, they'll be placed here. The image in the background is actually pulling from Basic Apple Guy, which is another shortcut that I built we'll get to in a minute. So not only is this added to an album called TV that we can then use as a widget, but he's also adding these to the reminder app. Now you can create a custom list, this way all these reminders go to a specific place, but each reminder will have the show title, episode number and season, the episode name here, the date and time it should be airing, and there's even a little poster image of the show, which is awesome. Then there's a link to tvmaze.com if you want to see even more information on that episode. Now we can also create a widget on our home screen that tells us our TV schedule. So let me add a widget here. I'll search for the stock Apple Photos widget, and instead of the featured, I'm going to go over to a specific album. Let me add it to my widget stack right here. Then let's tap and choose the specific album. You'll need to create this album manually. I called mine TV. I'm going to choose always display in full color, and now we'll have a widget that can update every day with whatever shows are airing. You can make this larger so it's easier to see, but you can also just tap the widget and then go to that image in your photo library. And if you want to change what shows this is checking, just delete what's in this top text block and write some new ones. I'll change the show titles. We'll run this again. Actually it runs pretty quickly, which is nice. And now we have a different image in the back. I can see the next episodes for all 4 shows, and that should update the photo widget as well. And you can see it deleted any previous image in that TV album, and now we have the current shows, and that'll show up in the widget. I'll also link to the post directly in the Shortcuts community. Here's It's Santi G, and I actually added little badges in the community so you could see who's a paying member, who's gone through Shortcuts University, and who's a Shortcuts hero. And It's Santi G shared that in the free area of my community where over 4,000 people are asking for Shortcuts help, sharing shortcuts they've built. And if you become a member, join 1,000 others and get access to my weekly live streams. You can watch all the past live stream recordings. You can watch all my YouTube videos ad-free and sponsor-free right here in the community. Get a new shortcut of the week every week. You can scan this QR code or just visit shortcut.bot to become a member of the community. And when you pay to support, that supports me and this channel as a creator. And you can also get Shortcuts University. That's a one-time purchase that is a 13 video series, over 12 hours of video content. When you sign up, you get forever access. I'm going to be updating this as iOS 27 and new Shortcuts features come out later this year. You see all the different lessons. Many of them are about an hour long, and I teach you from the very basics of creating shortcuts, like input and output. There's example shortcuts in every lesson, and you get a discount for community membership when you join. Save $50 on Shortcuts University right now by scanning here, or the link's down in the description as well. And speaking of, this next shortcut was actually perfected by one of these shortcuts heroes who went through Shortcuts University. This was made by Jamie, who shares awesome shortcuts all the time, and you can see her little badge right here. They went through Shortcuts University. And while you can ask the voice assistant on iPhone to parse individual reminders, this will let you parse multiple at once and then add them with a date and time for an alert. So if I run this shortcut, it'll start dictation, and I can say, remember to take out the trash at 3 p.m., cook dinner at 6 p.m., and do my homework Sunday at noon. I tap the stop button when I'm done dictating text. It sends that to ChatGPT Apple Intelligence extension, parses out all the reminders, and creates them that quickly. And as you can see, you got the reminder titles and even the alert times. So today at 3, today at 6, and also doing my homework Sunday at noon, it even got a future date and time correct. So that's dictating multiple reminders, and this next shortcut is actually from Ricky Mondello. I'll link to their blog and you can get the shortcut with one click from there. But this one will work on any device you have, iPhone, iPad, or Mac, and you know that autofill whenever you're gonna buy something online and it has your credit card information? Well, this shortcut will jump you directly to the place where you can change that card info, so if you need to update a card, remove it, or just make the autofill information more useful and accurate, this shortcut will bring you directly there. Next, I have a few specifically for Apple Music. Sometimes I see reels or posts of people suggesting tracks, albums, and new artists I've never heard of, and I want to quickly find them on Apple Music. Well, this shortcut you can run from the Control Center or select a photo of a screenshot you've taken before, and when you run it, I'll choose from Photos. Here's a reel I saw of someone suggesting new music, and when I choose that photo, it's going to send it to Apple Intelligence, parse whatever artist, album, and song name. It's going to show the iTunes results, so there's a price here, but you're not actually buying it. It's just the easiest way to find it using general search terms. And when you tap it, if you're subscribed to Apple Music, it will just start playing automatically. You can see it started playing in the dynamic island. I can tap it, and here it is in Apple Music. I can quickly add it to my library. Or you can also map it to something like your action button, and then when you come across a reel where they're suggesting music, just tap the action button, make sure something's on screen that you want to capture. I'll tap my music from social, tap take screenshot. It'll take a screenshot of whatever it is, do the same thing, find that song in Apple Music, tap it, and it will immediately start playing. And then here it is, I can add it to my library. Also, someone in the community wanted to be able to search the current song they're listening to on YouTube for a music video. Well, let's play a song that probably has a good music video on YouTube, like Thriller. And once that song is currently playing, you see it up there in the dynamic island, this shortcut actually gets the currently playing song and immediately opens a YouTube search for that song and artist. You see after a few seconds, here it is searching in YouTube, and we have the music video right here. Super fast way to look for the music video on YouTube, and you can also look for remixes with this other shortcut. It also takes the current song that's playing in Apple Music, searches for remix on YouTube, and now we have several remixes that we can check out. Next, if you needed to mark up multiple photos at the same time, this shortcut is for you. When you run it, you can choose multiple photos. I'll choose this one, and my son finally got into Champ and Rocket League, so I might choose that photo as well. It'll go through each photo and open the markup pane. So right now it's ready for me to circle. I can circle something here, and when I'm done, tap the 3 dots, done, and then it will go to the next image. And remember, when you're marking an image up, if you want to draw something like a circle or an arrow, just hold your finger at the end of the shape, and the markup tool will actually make it a nice looking arrow. Like Primary Technology has often been in the top 50 tech podcasts in Apple Podcasts. You should totally listen or watch an Apple Podcast, scan the QR code, and I'll take you right to it. Once I'm done marking up this one, I'll tap done on this one, and it will save new versions of each of those photos with the markup. Here's the original photo, there's the markup version, original photo, markup, and so on. All right, before we get to these last few shortcuts, let's go back and check on Shortcut Studio building those shortcuts. All right, here's the shortcut that we asked it to pull events from today and just show them in a quick look with the title and start time. I'll click to download it, and I do find if you leave some conversations, they will fail when they're not on screen the whole time. So for the best chance of it working, maybe just keep the conversation open until it finishes building. It really only takes less than a minute. I'll open this in Shortcuts, let's add it, and let's jump in to see what it actually made. So it's getting our calendar events for today. It's set up that properly. It's going to format all the events with the title and start time and then show it to us in a quick look. Let's run it and see if it worked. Sure enough, it actually nailed it. It has all the events for today, the date and time. It shows the title. It built a shortcut that runs the first time. Now I might want to tweak it and actually change the order from latest first to oldest first. And I kind of wanted the title above the start time, but I could follow up with the prompt in the conversation and ask it to change it. But just the fact that it worked with all the variables connected, that's really impressive. And I do want to give credit to the developer of Shortcut Studio. They're actually in my Shortcuts community and they're a member. It's Midas Avocado. And the first time I tried this app, it was not connecting variables properly. It wouldn't actually build shortcuts that work out of the box. They worked really hard to fix a lot of those errors and not connecting variables, and I found it to be much more consistent. Now, when it gets to more complex shortcuts, which we're going to test in a moment, it can't do some of those. I'll show you what I mean. So we got today's events and nailed that. Let's see if we can replicate the shortcut that Jamie built from the community, being able to dictate multiple reminders and adding them to the Reminders app. All right, it built our shortcut. Let's inspect and download. Tap the share button, go over to shortcuts. So this one starts with dictating the text. It did after pause, so I'll have to make sure to speak pretty quickly. It's parsing it. It is using Apple Intelligence, the on-device model, and then it's going to parse that AI output, create some reminders. We'll see if all these actions actually work properly. And let me check at the end. Right here, it looks like it typed something in and didn't use an actual variable, so I'm not sure if that's going to work, but let's see what it does. Remind me to take out the trash at 3 p.m., cook dinner at 5 p.m., and do homework at 6 p.m. All right, it sent that dictation to the Apple Intelligence model. And we do have an error here for a numerical argument. This was an issue I ran into in the dictate reminder shortcut that we built in the community, that if you're splitting dictated text, there might be blank lines, or you might be splitting by a different character, and then there might not be an exact number of items every time it parses it. Now, I actually did this with Shortcut Studio one other time, and it actually worked. These were shortcuts also built by the Shortcut Studio app. This was the first AI dictate reminders that it built, and it connected these variables properly. I didn't adjust this shortcut in any way, and when I run it, remind me to take out the garbage at 3 p.m., cook dinner at 5 p.m., and do homework at 6 p.m. Just like before, it's using the Apple Intelligence on-device model, and this added the reminders, but it didn't parse the time as actually an alert time. It did add it to my inbox, so you can see that time it did work. It added the reminders here, but it needed to go a little farther to actually parse the alert time separately, so that actually worked and not just put it in the title. Overall, the first time I ran it, it did decently well, but depending on how you prompt it, your mileage may vary. The more specific you are, the better results you might get. Now, I will say I asked it for the display settings URL scheme, and it didn't get this one right either. This was the shortcut it built for going to the display settings, and it used this URL scheme, appprefs root equals display, and unfortunately that's not the right URL. I only know that because I use this exact URL in this shortcut, which I use every time I record a video, and you need to go to prefs root equal display. So all I needed to do was not include that app hyphen. I'm going to delete that notification action, and now if I run this, it will actually go to the display settings. This is an issue I run into when using LLMs to build shortcuts. URL schemes change between iOS 18 and iOS 26, and sometimes the LLMs have the old URL scheme or didn't update yet, and that's probably why it gave me the wrong URL there. But let's push Shortcut Studio even further, and then I'll share a couple more shortcuts. This time, let's ask it for something more complicated. This time, let's see if it can actually create a shortcut that uses that TV Maze API that itSantiG used to build a shortcut that gets new episodes. Now, this is a super complicated prompt. It's also asking it to use an external API, which I've tried using Shortcut Studio a couple times, and sometimes it gets it, sometimes not. But let's give it a minute and see if it'll build the shortcut. All right, that took about 2 minutes to build. It's pretty complicated, so let's see. TV episodes reminder. We'll bring it over to the Shortcuts app. Let's add it. So it's formatting some dates, so we get the week start and the weekend. It's asking for TV shows. It actually got the tvmaze.com API URL correct. It's going to try and parse that JSON, do another call to that API. Now, I don't see a place where it's actually going to show us the results here. So I'm going to add a quick look at the very bottom just to see what it's giving us. And let's see what it does just running it. All right, I'm going to give it a few shows that I think have episodes coming soon. We'll tap allow so it uses that API. We'll also tap allow. Apparently it's using Apple Intelligence ChatGPT action. And it looks like it showed up blank. I'm going to put this one action above because I think it's doing something, but it's just not passing it through to the right variable. So let me try one more time. So it didn't show anything that time either. Let me go up just a little further. It does look like it's trying to get the contents of the API right here and trying to parse it. Let me add a quick look right here to see if it's actually pulling anything from the API. So something's not exactly right. It's not passing through the proper variables, but I do give it credit for actually finding the URL for the tvmaze.com API and trying to build it, getting somewhere with that. Let's give it one more shot on a complex shortcut. One of my most popular shortcuts is the Reel to Recipe parser for Instagram Reels. Let's see if it can do something similar. Now, this shortcut actually doesn't require a lot of actions if it properly gets contents of URL and then makes raw HTML from those contents, but let's see what it does. Okay, that actually built it pretty quick. Let's see how it formatted those actions. It looks like it got the share sheet and clipboard right. Let's check it to be sure. So it's going to receive URLs. If there's no input, just continue. Now, we could have just chose clipboard up here for the shortcut input action. You would have learned that in Shortcuts University, but it's doing an if statement, which is also fine, getting the clipboard. It's going to get contents of the web page. It's using Apple Intelligence to try and parse that information, and it is creating a note with all the steps. So let me get an Instagram reel. These are all recipes that I have saved using that shortcut on Instagram. I saved them to Bear, but I'll copy a link I know my shortcut worked on before. It's on the clipboard. That if statement should get it. It seems like it did, but unfortunately it did not parse it properly. Now I think the issue is this action right here. It should really use get contents of URL. So let's swap out that one action. I want to get the final URL, and because Instagram can kind of be a pain in the neck, we're going to make HTML from those contents. I'm going to switch this to ChatGPT because it does better at parsing longer text. HTML, and now let's see what it does. All right, this time it's actually processing it, trying to get the information. Oh, and it actually worked that time. It got the recipe, it included the link back to the recipe, it has the ingredients correct, the instructions are down here. It was so close to actually working. The only difference is it needed to be a get contents of URL instead of that Safari action, and then make HTML before passing it to the Apple Intelligence action. Now I tried Shortcut Studio with version 1, and it has come a long way. The fact that it's that close to building useful, full shortcuts, just a couple steps are off right there. Huge kudos to the developer. Again, download it completely for free. Try it. There's also a great marketplace of shortcuts you can just download from. So if I go to the marketplace up here, this is a really cool idea. I know Federico Viticci is also working on a shortcuts type playground where AI can build shortcuts for you. We're getting very close to be able to just prompt it. And when it comes to basic shortcuts, like even using the suggested prompts right here, things like pulling your calendar events for today, the Shortcut Studio can do that right now, and I think it's very close, just a couple actions away from doing those more complex shortcuts. So something like this bill splitter shortcut, this was just a suggested prompt. Open this in Shortcuts. So let's just run this. I'll put an amount like 135. Then you can actually choose contacts. I can choose multiple here, and depending on how many contacts you choose, it's actually going to split the bill properly. Look at that. We have the total between all three of those friends. And you can even choose to send a message to those friends with the amount that they owe. I'll cancel that part, but pretty cool. And the Shortcut Studio app just built this. Link to the Shortcut Studio app down in the video description, along with all the other shortcuts I talked about today, including one of that TV Wire version that actually uses a background for one of the shows you're watching. That was my little twist on that shortcut. I like seeing a little TV show image behind there. Also gonna put some updated shortcuts down here at the bottom. I don't know why no one told me, but apparently NASA's photo of the day has an RSS feed. This is way better than trying to scrape their web page. So this shortcut actually just gets the NASA photo of the day from the RSS feed. It is way faster. Also adds a description right there, also from the RSS feed. Adds it to a photo album. I call it my widget photo album. And then you can set this as a home screen widget. I talked about that in my video all about iPhone widgets. You can watch that video by scanning the QR code here, or that link is below. Also my quote of the day widget. Same thing, this pulls an inspirational quote. When you run the shortcut, it gets the inspiringquote.com quote of the day, gets a royalty-free image from pexels.com, searches a different kind of image every time, and this will actually add it to a photo album that you can then use as a widget. Again, I show that in my widget video for iPhone. I've also updated the infinite wallpaper shortcut. This is using basic Apple guys, amazing wallpapers. This runs on any device. Be sure to have a lock screen home screen combo that uses a static photo, not a photo shuffle, weather, or astronomy type. It has to be a single photo type lock screen home screen combo. I'll choose this focus modes combination. It's gonna get a random wallpaper from basic Apple guys, one of his awesome collections. Set it as your lock screen home screen combo, and just like that you can get a new wallpaper in seconds and they all look great. Oh, by the way, new episode of Top 5 Tech came out today, which is Friday. That's my solo 5-minute podcast. Comes out every Friday with suggestions of what to watch, listen to, read, download, and a deep thought of the week. You can watch or listen in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Scan this QR code here and I'll take you right to the show. But I'll run this again and you'll see it'll come up with a different wallpaper. And remember, this works on iPad and Mac as well. So you can get a new wallpaper in seconds every time. And basic Apple guys wallpapers are just the best. And finally, I'm working on this shortcut, so it's kind of in progress, but if you want to try it, what I have this doing is looking through my email, and if there's newsletters that you get that maybe they get lost in the hundreds of emails you get every day, or you want a summary of what the newsletter is telling you, this is finding the newsletter by any text that's in the body and the subject. So I'm using this to find the Pod News newsletter. Then it's going to summarize using Apple Intelligence and create an Apple Note with a summary of that newsletter. So I'm working on this and trying to think how I can expand this to basically give you a summary of all your newsletters for the day. It's going to require many more actions if you have different newsletters with different titles and things in the body, but just like that, you can see I actually get a summary of the Pod News newsletter. I get key points under here. So that's actually a shortcut in progress, but if you want to play around with that, links to this shortcut, all the shortcuts I mentioned today, and the Shortcut Studio app are down in the description. And don't forget, if you want to learn how to build shortcuts for yourself and troubleshoot shortcuts you might build from Shortcut Studio, join Shortcuts University, $50 off at this QR code, and the link is down in the description as well. And just join the community. I'll put that QR code right here. Some awesome members, Shortcuts heroes, and many people building and sharing awesome shortcuts. And if you ask for help, there's lots of people there ready to help, and I'll be there as well. I get in there as much as I can, but if you become a member, I answer every priority shortcuts request in the member area as well. I'll put my iPhone widgets video and my action button, which also has a bunch of shortcuts that are great for the action button. Those videos will be right up here. Oh, and don't forget to hit the subscribe and like button while you're here, and thank you for watching. I'll catch you next time.